It's a beautiful day to be back, friends. Welcome to Drunk on Broad. I'm your host, Rich Conroy, followed by my man.
What's up, Nick? What's going on?
Nick A, the co-host, and we got our producer in the house, ASAP Oski. Always does a great job holding it down. Shout outs to Mama Os on recovering from her surgery. We hope everything goes well. We love you. And your son is a stud on the mixer. So today's episode, we're going to tackle a few things, especially the things that are relevant going on within the NBA and the NHL playoffs. If you haven't been watching ESPN or any TV or live under a rock, Golden State is destroying LeBron. Well, not LeBron, but LeBron's Cleveland Cavaliers. Basically what I'm trying to say is, Nick, I don't think Golden State can be beaten at all this series.
I mean, it's tough to argue against that, but then again, I thought last year that Golden State wasn't going to lose either. I mean, things happen. I think this year, it's just, when you watch them play, it's just a different animal, man. So very well-oiled machine. So when you look at it, like how I look at it, do you think now, looking at the dominance, the clear, I mean, it's what, 20.5 points difference in both games for the scores. Do you think that Kevin Durant signing to Golden State was a sucker move? It depends on how you look at it, because there's people that'll say yes just because they were very good, they didn't need him. But then you also look at it like when he signed there, what he did was basically all the pressure he had before, he doubled, tripled, quadrupled that, because they're saying, listen, you go to Golden State and you do anything other than win a championship, then you're never going to win one. Like, oh, you're a sucker and you can't win still. So he's got all the pressure on him. But listen, I think the finals is the best I've seen him play in a long time.
He's playing out of his mind. I've never seen this side of Kevin Durant. I mean,
I've seen him play like this, but he's playing.
I've seen him play good, but I know that was insane.
5 block shots,
but not like consistently this good. Especially like stretching it over this whole playoff series.
It's just tough. I mean, when you think about it, like there's been a lot of people talking about it. The one thing, like last year, I really liked Harrison Barnes. I think what he did for the Warriors was a very complimentary piece, but what Durant does is Durant will still play defense. He's bigger, he's longer. And what they would do last year is when they would focus on Curry and Thompson, right? Draymond's going to do his thing, but you focus on the two shooters, right? So you have those two making plays. And then what happens is once those two are making plays, then they would just leave Barnes open. And they're like, okay, you beat us. But when Kevin Durant's over there, you can't just say, okay, you beat us, because he will beat you.
Kevin Durant can honestly beat a team by himself. He's basically what LeBron is.
So instead of them focusing on Clay and Steph, they got to focus on Kevin Durant and Steph. So then Clay's getting looks, Draymond's getting looks. Even the young guys that they bring in, Ian Clark plays well.
And Draymond's not even having that great of a postseason.
No, but he's like a Swiss Army knife though.
Yeah, he does everything. He's better defensively. And you got Klay Thompson who can just lock anybody down. The funny thing is when we were texting the other day, and I'm like, dude, they stand no chance because they don't play defense. LeBron's looking terrible. He's getting shook by Curry. Then you have J.R. Smith, who just lets guys go right by him. Well, Kyrie's not locking anybody down. And Tristan Thompson is on the better half of useless. And there's no good half of being you're either useless or you're not useless, and he's on the useless side.
The Cavs' defensive efficiency this year, they were in the bottom 5, right?
I could tell.
There's no team has ever won a championship being outside the top 20 defensive efficiency. The last team that even won the top 20 was the 2001 Lakers, and the only reason why is because they would score 120 and you couldn't beat them anyway. So it didn't matter. And that was in the beginning half of the season they didn't play. At second half, they were a top 5 defensive team. The Cavs, they don't play defense because it just shows how bad the East is.
The East is awful.
Regardless, are they going to be able to match up man for man on the Warriors? No, they don't have the roster. So you have LeBron, but if he plays full defense, right, the whole game, LeBron, then you're losing some efficiency on offense.
So,
right? But the problem is that when I watch the games, I see LeBron on Steph. Why? LeBron should be on Durant.
It makes no Steph.
He should be on Durant.
Yeah. It makes no Steph. It makes no sense.
Kyrie's a liability on defense. He can't guard anybody.
Well, yeah, and he's not. And as Jackie Varnas pointed out, he's not hitting any of his shots.
Regardless, if he doesn't play defense, doesn't matter how many shots he hits, because then Steph can come down and just get what he wants on him.
And that's what they're doing. They're still trying to do this trade 2s for 3s, and then you got LeBron driving the lane and kicking it out. to dreadful shooters like J.R. Smith, who's a streaky shooter, and Amon Shumpert. And Amon Shumpert has never been good in his career. The Knicks fans are literally looking at Cleveland and laughing and saying thank you for taking them bums off their hands.
There's no more Nets and Knicks scrubs on the roster that are any good. You got Richard Jefferson, he's not doing anything.
No.
J.R. Smith's not doing anything. Amon Shumpert's not doing anything. Darren Williams is still in the league. He stinks. He's not doing anything. He's on the Cavs.
Yeah, I know. Deron Williams, he looks like an old man. The other night when they threw out Deron Williams, Channing Frye at center, Kyle Korver at 4, who was Amon Shumpert, and J.R. Smith, I'm like, what is this? What is this team out here that you're literally trying to put out, and this is the team that you're going to bring out to compete? Nick, we could round up probably 5 guys and beat them because they're that bad.
This goes into the exact part where, now David Griffin, he's in hot water, right? The Cavs GM, because they're like, well, we don't know what his future is. There's other teams trying to get him. The problem is, once LeBron came back, they gave pretty much, he has full say. So if a guy wants to go or stay, they pretty much go, hey, LeBron, we're thinking about doing this. What do you think? That comes with being a star player. I understand that. But the big move is, you trade Dunleavy for Korver. What's the difference? I understand Korver's a sharpshooter, but at least Dunleavy will play a little D. He's going to board a little bit. He's still a smart player.
But Korver can't create his own shots.
So if you're gonna trade Dunleavy, they should have traded him to the Suns as a dump, and they should have just went and got P.J. Tucker, who was out there because he's a defensive wing. You don't need another guy to come out and shoot threes. The roster is built to score. They can't play defense. So you add another scorer, but they're all streaky. Yeah. Right? J.R. Smith, if he's missing shots, he's missing shots.
He'll hit 19 or hit 0.
Kyrie's efficiency is bad. He takes bad shots. LeBron is very efficient, but the problem is that you can't beat a team as good as them by yourself.
No. He can drop 48. He can drop 48 the next game, and he can drop 48 in game 4. Can you say that he's no Michael, he's no Michael? Well, he did everything he can possibly do in Game 2 to assure his team to win, but he still had no help from the players who surround him. Granted, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry are all all-stars. I get it. Like, that's a squad to go against, but you still need your team to show up. For the folks who are joining us right now, I understand we are called Drunk on Broad because this is a Philly segment, and it pains for us to not be able to talk anything relevant with Philadelphia sports because they're either so ungodly bad. 2-game winning streak, though. 2-game winning streak. Trying to make it 3 tonight. I did start Jaime Garcia against them tonight for my fantasy squad. Shout-outs to Emra. Only here because I miss Rich. What's up, brother? But we will be talking about a little bit of the more on the NBA and the Sixers lottery. Just bear with us as we go through some generic and broad topics that are being discussed. I wanted to hear Nick's take, and I wanted to give you guys my take on what we believe. So, Nick, we're going to answer the first question that Laura wants to know. Who do you see winning the finals?
She asked who's winning and how many games. So I'll say the Warriors in 5. I think the Cavs get a game just because I think, as defending champs, there's going to be a game where either Kyrie goes off for 35 and, Curry has a couple bad games, or, the Warriors go up 3-0 and let the foot off the gas. But I think if the Warriors go up 3-0, they're not going to lose.
Yeah,
so
I don't see that
meaning that
either.
the Cavs have to win game 3.
But they'll have them right where they want them.
Yeah, sure. Because I think that the Warriors learned a lot last year. Was saying like, listen, we can't take our foot off the gas at all.
No, you it's step on their throat and kill them.
We got to,
it's basically what you have to do.
Just don't let them get up. So I'll say 5, but that all depends on game 3.
Who's your MVP?
MVP is going to end up being Kevin Durant.
I like that. I will also take Golden State, but I'm just going to give them a clean sweep because I don't think the Cavs can do it. LeBron, I love LeBron. I am a fan. I just don't see... I see the talent he has around him right now. Kevin Love is atrocious. I mean, he'll get 14 boards, but who's he going against? Zaza? Like, it's not hard for somebody. That guy's a big stiff. But there's just too many weapons on Golden State, and they just play better defense and play better ball all around. So I got them in 4, and I'm going to give it to KD, King Ding-a-ling, because...
King Ding-a-ling!
King Ding-a-ling! Because he is putting in work. So now we are going to jump to the other series that is going on, the more exciting series, the Nashville Predators versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. One, I hate the Penguins, so I hope they lose. It's tied up 2-2. Sidney Crosby's a bitch. He's a crybaby. I hope he gets punched in the mouth. I love PK Subban bringing the bottles of Listerine. He's like, yeah, you don't like my stinky breath. Breathe on him, brother. Breathe on him. I just love the way Nashville plays. And honestly, that city is electric. Listening to that crowd, you suck, it's all your fault, chanting it. Oh my god, dude. It honestly does send chills down your spine because you wouldn't think a market like Nashville would be such a big hockey town. They stuck with their team, even though they got rid of their best player probably in history. What's up, Marla? And Shea Weber, because obviously the Flyers just bid that up. What was he getting, like $125 million a year? That's insane. So they had to dump that off. But the way the Nashville Predators fans stuck behind them, it kind of reminds me of Eagles fans and Eagles fans, because let's be real, everybody is just giving up on the Phillies right now. Everybody's bashing the Flyers, the Sixers. There's the hopeful, trust the process. You got that stuff. But you don't really have what you see right now in Nashville. So I commend the Predators fans. I love what they're doing, and I hope they take it. I love PK Subban. PK Subban's a hell of a player.
Well, they're just playing. I mean, when they went down 2-0, I'm like, oh man, down 2-0.
But they gave away the first game.
I know.
That was the
problem. There was a couple of soft goals. I think that I watched a little bit of both last two games. You know, we get up too early sometimes.
No interference called on Crosby when he just decks the dude 20 feet away from the puck. Yeah, but it's Sidney Crosby.
There's I mean, what they're doing is, if they play at home, they're not going to lose at home. So I can see it going 7 games. I just really hope Nashville's got to get one.
Oh yeah,
they got to get one on the road, because if not, if it goes 7 games, you're going to lose, because Pittsburgh's got this higher seeded team.
They have the.
But I want the Preds to win because, one, we hate Schittsburg.
We do.
Everything they come to stand for, we hate them. Number 2, Laviolette's the coach of the Preds.
Of course,
Lavi did a lot for the city.
He did amazing. We fired him. We're assholes.
I mean, I just like the way they play, man. They're fast. Their goalie's hot right now. Hot goalies always win.
That's what wins you. That's what wins.
He's the top 5 goalie in the league anyway. So he's just playing hot right now too. So
it's just great seeing those guys after basically enduring awful seasons and a huge, massive contract for a defensive player. I'm glad they're there. I'm just gonna say I got the Preds in 6. I think they're just gonna wrap it up. They're playing too hot right now. I mean, they're outplaying Pittsburgh on all ends of the ice. Goaltending, defense, offense. I mean, and that's what wins. Honestly, I just gave you the generic version of how to win in the playoffs.
Just be better
you shoot better, you play better defense, and you stop more pucks. I'm a genius.
Plus, when you watch the Pens, they just look tired, man.
They do, because they're getting beat up. They
look worn out, so I think that has something to do with it. Especially, it'd be different if, like, their best player is Crosby, but he doesn't hit anybody. He doesn't fight people. No. It's not like Ovechkin will hit you, Giroux will hit you. Those teams like that, they hit. You know what I mean?
Sidney Crosby scored his first playoff goal since 2009 the other night.
Yeah, I know. He's the best player in the playoffs for them. Always Malkin.
Yeah. Oh, Evgeny Malkin is a monster.
That's Herman Munster.
Herman Munster. Moving on. Right now, we are going to talk about the Sixers.
NBA draft just around the corner.
NBA draft. So I'm going to give a little tidbit, a little side note. I did not actually see the lottery. I was in Ireland. I was in the motherland, enjoying my time with my beautiful fiance and her awesome family. So I didn't even know that they actually did exercise a swap with Sacramento. Yes. Mm-hmm. And they wound up swapping and getting the 3rd pick.
We would have had pick 5.
Or we would have had 5.
Yep.
Now here's my dilemma with that. Do I think the Sixers should draft Lonzo Ball if he falls? No. And I know we were going to talk about this later, but my dilemma with that is he's another facilitator. He's a ball-heavy guy. He has to get a lot of touches. He has to hold the rock. That's what you got Ben Simmons for. Do I think he can shoot? I think his shot's broke.
Who, Lonzo?
Yeah, Lonzo.
He can't shoot. Why do you want to point... Now, this is the thing with Lonzo Ball. We'll just get this out of the way now. So, I've been reading a lot on him, scouts, GMs, to say the same thing. He does one thing great. The only thing he does great is pass.
Yes.
So he has his best attribute is the same best attribute that Ben Simmons have. Best difference with Ben Simmons is he's 6'10", 6'11", he runs the floor, he can guard a 3, 4, or a 5, he can shoot better, and he's just a better overall talented player. Lonzo can't shoot. Why do I want a 6'6" point guard that can't shoot?
Exactly.
I don't. Now, I think Colangelo tried to tip his hand. It's either he's tipped his hand or he blew some smoke by saying Ben Simmons is the point guard. I think he's more of a point forward. Larry Brown was on All 97.5 the other day. And
I didn't
love
like
Larry
that.
Brown,
I didn't like
but
that
I love
interview.
Larry Brown, and he said Ben Simmons is a point forward. You still need a point guard.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he's the same. LeBron is a point forward. Does that mean you don't need Kyrie?
Oh, no,
you need your best player to get as many touches. But if you have a point guard like that will still distribute the ball, but can also get 30, which I don't think Lonzo Ball will be able to do in the NBA. Guys are bigger, faster, stronger. He can't get to the rim like that. So, now, this is what I think. There's a couple options here. I know Colangelo did just say that he's open to shopping number 3.
Which is a
a
good option.
You have to throw that out there, though, to see
Especially if
who's willing.
De'Aaron Fox gets taken at 2. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't want to trade back. Maybe with the Kings and get the 5 and the 10. And as Dan just said, you get Monk, and then maybe you hope for a Dennis Smith Jr. later on.
No, I think that you
10.
take Dennis Smith at 3. He's the best player for the Sixers.
You think him over Malik
I think he's
Monk?
better than Malik Monk because he's a true point guard.
Okay.
And he can go and get you 30. He carried a team that had nobody else on their team this whole season. He did what Ben Simmons did all year. They weren't any good, but he's the only player.
Well, look at Fultz. His team sucks, but he's going to be the unanimous number 1 pick.
There was a game against North Carolina where, Dennis Smith's playing against a national championship team and he gets 40.
That's pretty impressive.
There's a reason why he did that.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
You put him... Now, everybody likes Malik Monk, but why am I going to draft at number 3 or number 5 a standstill shooter? Now, they say, he's Bradley Beal. He's not Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is very underrated. He's bigger than Monk, and he can get to the rim.
And his dribble penetration is
the
pretty
reason
stellar.
why
It's pretty elite.
Now, Monk, he can play. But I think that if the Lakers do something different, they have a new regime now. I think Lonzo is enticing to them because he's an LA kid.
Yes.
They have that tie. Everybody says they're going to take him. So say they go Josh Jackson, they think he's a bigger superstar. So then the Sixers are looking at 3, and they go, okay, we can take De'Aaron Fox, we can take Dennis Smith, we can take Lonzo Ball, we can take Jonathan Isaac, who I also really like too.
I like Jonathan Isaac.
So they say, okay, well, we
Florida
can take
State,
one
right?
of them. Yes, we can take one of them, or we can trade 5 and 10. So now I say, okay, if I'm trading back to 5 and 10, so the Kings, that means either the Kings really like Ball, the Kings really like De'Aaron Fox, or the Kings like Dennis Smith, right? Or Jonathan Isaac. So you're taking a chance that one of those guys you like is not going to be there, which you're trading 2 picks back. The Suns don't need a point guard, so they're going to.
They have like 8. They have 8 guards on their roster, and they have a young guy, Devin Booker, who is going to be probably one of the next best point guards.
So I think he's a shooting guard.
Yeah.
So I think, I also think that if say the Lakers go Lonzo Ball at 2, right? The Lakers go, it goes, everything goes according to plan, right? Fultz goes 1, Ball goes 2, Sixers on the clock. You can also sell the Suns up. To move up 1 pick, you can do what, the Bears and the Niners did.
Yeah.
You can fleece them, and you say, okay, so you guys want to move up. We were thinking about taking Lonzo Ball. We were thinking about taking Josh Jackson. Oh, we really want Josh Jackson. Okay, so you guys want him. What are you willing to give up for him?
Very true.
It's okay. Well, we'll give you our pick, and then now they're not going to trade you Devin Booker.
No,
he's
not
their
at all.
best player.
Yeah.
So Eric Bledsoe is a possibility
I would take Eric Bledsoe.
to move back 1 pick.
Why not?
Get 20 points a game.
That's actually reasonable.
So you have Eric Bledsoe that's there. And that's there. There's a lot of options, but that doesn't mean that you have to do that. So they could also stand pat and just take the player that if they think De'Aaron Fox is the best player for him, that's fine. I like De'Aaron Fox.
I like De'Aaron Fox too.
What they're going to do with that is if they get De'Aaron Fox, then they're going to be driving a Ferrari every night.
My whole thing is what I believe the Sixers should do is you need to address the need at point guard. If a team is willing to give you a point guard and say another pick that's in the top 8, I have no problems with making that trade for the 3. As long as we get something of value or something good in return, I have no objections to that.
So here's a scenario.
What do you got?
So they stand firm at 3, right? They think they're going to stand firm. Then the Suns go, okay, we'll give you 4, and then... Or the Suns go, we'll give you 4 and Eric Bledsoe. And then the Kings go, we'll give you 5 and 10, and then we'll throw in an expiring contract. And you go, okay, well, what?
Well,
who's
yeah,
there
it's
at
going
5
to
and 10?
be it's going to be a salary dump.
So you take who's there at 5 and 10?
Yeah.
Is that worth more than Bledsoe and pick 4? Because at 5 and 4, it depends on what you like.
I honestly, I
Basically pick your flavor.
I think the Bledsoe and the 4 is worth more than the 5 and the 10. Say
Because
that
you're
you
getting
get all the way down to
NBA
10.
type
You're
all-star player.
already getting a guy who's proven he just bounced around from the Clippers and to Phoenix. You're already getting a guy who's a proven shooter. He's a good point guard. He's not stellar, but he's in that good.
Scoring point guard.
Yeah, he's a scoring
So
point guard.
if
He's
you
in
have
that top 15. So I'll take that out of Eric Bledsoe and still being able to draft another guard. I'll take all day. I don't think taking the risk at 10 to hoping Dennis Smith Jr. is there or Malik Monk. I don't think it's going to push us over to what we need.
So this is the thing. I think
or where we need to be.
You have to be really certain. This is why I really have to hope that Colangelo has done his homework and he trusts his scouts and he knows enough.
He has to trust his scouts.
With other GMs that he's going to be able to get the players he wants. Because say you trade back to 5 and you get pick 10. So pick 5, right? You go, okay, pick 5. Let's say it goes Fultz, Ball, Jackson, and then they go. I don't know who would go 4. Probably. You could say.
You said who'd you say?
So maybe,
Fultz.
Yeah. Fultz, Ball, Jackson are top 3, pretty much.
Fox.
The board. Fox. So then you're at 5. Who do you take? Do you take Malik Monk there, or do you take Jonathan Isaac?
No, I probably Jonathan. He's a big dude, right?
Jonathan Isaac.
He's a forward.
He's built just like Anthony Davis is built. But he can dribble. He can pull up and shoot.
Yeah, but then we have another log jam.
How do you have a log jam?
What's he gonna play?
You put Ben at the 3. You put him at the 4.
The 4, and then what? Dario goes to the bench and becomes a 6-man. He'll be a 6-man anyway.
So you have, but that I'm saying that's one option.
Okay.
Or you can go 5. You can just say, listen, we just want a shooter and we take Monk. But then at 10.
Why can't we trade Okafor for the number 1 pick? He's worth it. Have you seen that guy play?
Now listen,
he's got like 8 bad knees,
but
I love his game.
There's a trade that I would do all day long, but I wouldn't do it because the Celtics are the number 1 pick.
I'm not making teams in the East better.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'll never do that.
Because I have no problem.
It's like trading with the Cowboys, move up a spot. No, I'm not making another team better.
I'm going to get crap for this.
Go ahead.
But there's no way.
Everybody left.
That if somebody gave me the first overall pick in a draft where there's a player like Ben Simmons or Markelle Fultz, and they said, okay, but you have to give me Joel Embiid. There's no reason.
No way. No.
I would
you don't trade. What?
I would trade.
You would trade Embiid.
Is he ever going to give me 60 games? Is he going to give me 60 games?
Nick, I don't know, man. He's not even.
Exactly.
Right. The reason why I get so hyped because everybody.
I love Embiid. Right?
I agree, but I agree with you though.
I
agree with you. I'll let you explain. But I'm saying
big guys.
I agree with you.
So the thing is, the two problems you have with basketball players are knees and feet.
Yeah,
they don't get
both.
better when you get older. They get worse.
I completely agree with you.
So if he's got foot problems now, when he's 27, is he going to be able to run? Is he going to be the next Greg Oden?
No, he's not. He's not going to be able to run.
He's going to be like Greg Oden?
I had these conversations with Devon Givens when I call on Saturdays, and he's on the radio. And he talks about, well, after next year, you have to give him a max contract. I love Devon Givens. He's very knowledgeable with sports. But I keep telling him, what are you going to do with this guy if he plays only 25 to 30 games next year? You can't give him a max deal. Then what are you going to do? Let him walk?
There's a problem because...
But then now you don't have value for him. I agree.
And
he's a once-in-a-lifetime player. If he stays healthy, make him somebody else's problem.
This is exactly...
He's one injury away from never playing again.
Now, this is the thing.
How is that going to help?
This is the thing. So if you... You can probably get a 1 or a 2 for him just because
he had that flash of brilliance.
People see them and be like, damn, he can be like a different... He's 7'2", he can run,
we can get
he
LeBron
can shoot.
for him.
Oh, yeah, you want LeBron for So, there's that. But I'm saying there's no reason why you trade him to the Celtics because if his foot stays good and he plays the next 5 years and he balls out, you ain't going to beat the Celtics because he's too good.
Yeah. But the only thing is I would say it's like
not going to happen.
It's not a 50-50 chance. Do you know Max Garcia from the Broncos? No, I do not, Marla. No, I do not. Go on.
Lineman, yeah, I know who he is. Anyway, they're not going to trade Embiid. I'm just saying that if I'm the GM,
no, you can't trade him.
You have to always have that in your mind. I know you love the player, but you have to think about it. We traded Iverson, and Iverson
broke my heart.
He's one of the top 30 players ever to touch the court.
You know that song, American Pie by Don McLean?
Yeah.
The Day the Music Died?
Yeah.
That's when the music died for me, when they traded AI. And made Iggy the superstar, and now he's going to go on to win a ring. Oh, what? Marla's famous. That's her neighbor. That's cool. She lives out there. But what I look at is, if Embiid can't stay healthy, which we know that he can't, I would get rid of him now. And it might come back to kill us, but it might actually come back to be the smart thing to do.
Probably
If the price is right, you move them. If it's not right, and they're just like, all right, we'll just give you the 2.
This is the thing, though.
I don't think I can do
Where's
it.
the market for him? Because, yeah, a lot of teams could use a dominant player like him. Like, when he's on the court, you can't stop him. Sure.
But I don't think there is a market for him.
But if you trade him to the Celtics, you're going to have to worry about him beating you, right?
Yeah.
So that's like the biggest crap I used to hear. Well, we've traded Okafor to the Celtics. I said Okafor stinks.
Yeah.
They can have him.
I'm not worried about
nothing.
that.
He can't play defense and he can't run. Right? So everybody always bashes the Okafor pick. They're like, well, Hinkie picked Okafor. Hinkie did that as an insurance policy.
Yeah.
Because he knew that there was a chance Embiid's foot would never be right.
Yep.
So he drafted Okafor saying, listen, if Embiid's foot's not right, I got this guy filling in. If his foot's fine, I got 2 of them. I can move one, or hopefully they can play together.
I agree.
Never worked out because Embiid,
they can't be on the floor together.
He's great, but
Ben Simmons, waiting for Ben Simmons and Joel to be on the court together. We don't
happen.
even know if they can mesh. There's so many variables with these guys that we have on the roster. Dario is proven the guy can play. Is he a number 1 guy? No, he's definitely a 6-man.
He's an NBA.
He's a guy who comes off the bench. He'll give you like 29 minutes a night, give you 18 points, and that's what you need. He's not a dominant starter. He's not going to be a dominant player.
He can be the guy that comes off the bench on the second unit and is the leading scorer. Like, he can be that guy. There's no shame in that because he's going to make a good living. He's going to get his numbers, and he's going to help the Sixers win a lot of games with that role when they become that team that we all hope they are. So we'll just see. It all depends on this pick. Does Colangelo get cute? Does he just stand pat and say, listen, I'm going to just stand firm at 3, take the guy I want at 3, try and use these 18,000 second-round picks that he has this year to either get company picks or try and trade a package of them.
You wish you could move all 45 second-round picks.
So
it would be nice.
The other thing is, you have the Lakers pick next year, not top 5 protected. So if the Lakers stink again, you have that option. The problem is that the Lakers are going to they have the top 2 picks, so they're going to get another good player. We hate the Lakers, I know.
Hate the Lakers.
So you can also shop that now, which is what I would have no problem doing. Like, you got to try and shout out to people, but the problem is GMs aren't stupid. They're not gonna Danny Ainge is gonna be like, okay, you'll give me 3, and next year's 1, and Okafor, okay, here's number 1. Like, he probably won't do that. If he does, great. Then you have Marco Fultz, and that's great. But
yeah,
it doesn't always work that way.
So we'll wrap this talk up with giving who we think the Sixers should pick. Nick, who do you think the Sixers should pick at number 3?
Who do I think they should pick, or who do I want them to pick?
Who do you want them to pick?
I want them to take Dennis Smith Jr.
Who do you think they're going to pick?
Who do I think they pick? I think they picked Aaron Fox because
if he's there.
I have a feeling that it's going to be Josh Jackson. I think if he's there, but if the Lakers do something or somebody moves up, then it'll be Aaron Fox. But I like Dennis Smith.
I like Dennis Smith, but I don't think he's top 3, so I'm just going to go with De'Aaron Fox. That is my pick. That is Nick's pick. Moving on to one of our favorite segments. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about baseball. Me and Nick played baseball. This is one of our favorite things to talk about, and there's actually a lot going on right now. Let's see. The Phillies stink. I was at the game on Saturday. They started scoring, so I did not go in because I didn't want to jinx it.
Can't jinx that.
You look at this team, Nick. What are the main concerns you have going forward?
That's a longer list than the ones that I have that aren't concerns.
What aren't your concerns, Nick? Because we only have an hour program.
My not concerns are the middle infield for the next 10 years. I think we'll be fine there. Everything else is a concern.
Freddie Galvis, though he can hit it at times, was second in percentage and second in Gold Glove votes last year.
He should have won.
Which a lot of people know. He should have won it over and
Brandon Crawford.
Brandon Crawford won it, and then a year before that it was Andrelton Simmons.
Yes.
So you look at Freddie Galvis and you see the one game early he made an error and everybody rode him for it because it was late in the game. But you don't realize what you have is something special there. You have a guy who can play defense at one of the toughest positions in the game. He's got the arm, he can make the throw. Then you look at his counterpart in Cesar Hernandez, who's a decent leadoff hitter. I don't think he's a true leadoff hitter in my eyes.
They don't really have one.
But they don't have one. Just like they don't have a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, a 8, or even a pitcher who can hit. So when you look at the game from when we played, the optimal lineup for me literally has none of them players in it. Tommy Joseph is almost close enough to be playing a full season. You know what you're going to get from him. He's going to be like a career 268 hitter. He's going to get you 20 home runs, if that, maybe 80 to 84 RBIs. I don't think that you can look at Tommy Joseph and say, all right, he's our first baseman of the future. He's just up here biting time. Then you look at Caesar. He's a good second baseman. I don't think he's going to be the second baseman for our future. Like, I mean, like, that's 10 years, probably for about 2 or 3 more. Until Kingery is ready to go, because that kid's a stud.
Sooner than later, I think.
Sooner than later. Then you got Galvez. He could be, because he can be that 8-hole hitter who can bat whatever, but he just has an outstanding glove.
So I already have my idea of what they should do now. The problem is...
Trade all these guys for Trout.
Yeah, sure. They wouldn't even do that.
No, I know. Anaheim's not that desperate.
The problem is that the way the GMs in baseball look at everything, it's all about time served in the majors. They want to get an extra year of arbitration so they don't have to pay you that big money. I say screw that. The Phillies just signed a multi-billion-dollar contract.
And spent no money.
With Comcast, right? So they have all this money to spend. They actually changed the ownership recently, where the ownership, they used to have a partnership team. It was about 3 guys that controlled all the money and all the assets. Now they have 1 who basically manages all funds, so it makes it a little bit easier.
Is that McClintock?
No, Clintack is the GM.
It's a GM.
So he's the one that makes the calls, but the ownership is all tied into one now. They have managing partners, but they have one guy that controls all the funds. This is what you're going to do here. Blah, 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 blah. Cool. So if he just says, listen, let's just worry about getting these guys up, make them players. I'd rather pay them the $25 million when they're worth it than, have them make them $10 million because they're not worth much, right? So what you do is, if it's me, the outfield, right? How many outfielders do you have that can actually play? Kendrick's a pretty good player.
Yeah, but he's under a 1-year deal. So
hit or miss. I'm not worried about the outfield right now. You're going to end up trading some of these older guys. You just bring Kingery up now. Why not? Bring JP up now. They're not doing a lot in the minors, but there's a reason for that.
JP has to play himself out of baseball.
I'm going to tell you this. This is what's going to happen. So if you look at JP Crawford's numbers,
terrible.
All these players in the minor leagues have issues with strikeouts. He doesn't strike out. He walks a lot. His BABIP numbers, batting average balls in play, is very low, meaning that he's very unlucky too.
Yeah.
So that means he's hitting hard balls. People, they're making plays. He's hitting line drives in the outfield. They're making plays. A lot of it also has to come. He's probably getting complacent. He's probably like, listen, I'm the number 1 prospect for his team for like 4 years now.
Yeah,
like,
and he hasn't even.
Ready.
Yeah.
It's like the Ryan Howard syndrome that they had, right? So just bring him up, let him play shortstop. I say you put Galvez at third, and he'll still be a plus.
I would put him at
third baseman. He's not going to hit there, but he's going to help your defense.
I agree. I put him at third base all day.
So what you do then is either, if it's me, I don't like the way Franco's been playing, I move him to AAA for a couple weeks.
I would send Franco down, or I would try to find a suitor for him.
And then I let Joseph play first for a little bit, or I let Franco play first base. He's probably better off as a first baseman anyway.
He still has a problem hitting.
The only kids that really have a chance of being the pros are, you have Kingery, you have Crawford, right? Alfaro has a chance because he got Pop as a catcher.
He should be
there. The problem is that he's very big for a catcher for the pros. He might end up being a first baseman.
If the kid can play there, though, let him play there and see what he has.
The problem with Cousins, I like Nick Cousins, but I'm sorry, not Nick Cousins. Dylan Cousins, because he's a little bit older. You should just bring him up now. He's like 25. What's the point of him playing in the AAA? Bring him up now. You have Rhys Hoskins. He can hit a little bit. He's a first baseman too. Tommy Joseph is what he is, but I'm sure that there's a team out there that would trade for him.
You look at these guys.
All these guys that are just so players. Just bring up the kids. Let them play. I don't care if it's like, it doesn't mean that means Cesar Hernandez isn't going to play. We're going to have to trade him. Then trade him.
You look at these guys, and what you see is a bunch of guys who probably aren't going to be on the team next year. No. You got Saunders who signed a 1-year, $9 million contract. It's expiring. He's not coming back. Only one who's under contract, honestly, is a Double. So you're going to dish out money for Freddie. I know that. But not a lot, because these guys aren't top-tier players, so they're not going to get a lot of money. It's not going to hurt you. Yeah, Galvez.
You can keep him for
you're going to keep him. It's going to be like $6 million a year for him. Cesar, you'll probably get him for like 4, maybe even less, 3. I see him signing like a 5-year, like $18 million deal. Something easy, this way if he does perform, you ship him out. Because you still have these guys waiting in the wings. Do I think Nick Williams is going to be a stud? I hope so. Strikes out a hell of a lot. Do I think Cousins is going to be a stud? I hope so. Strikes out a hell of a lot. Mm-hmm. Hoskins, same way. Hits the ball. He's got a good average this year. Last year, struck out a lot.
I don't understand the strikeout thing.
It's not the fact, like, I don't care if you're hitting 40 home runs every year. If you have every position player on your team hitting 40 home runs, batting 250, but striking out all the time, I don't care. You want to score runs and manufacture runs. Get them how you can get them. But the problem with the team is we don't have anybody who can get on base. And that, I feel, would be the problem. The problem with strikeouts and not putting the ball in play as much, as you know, everybody can hit a home run in the MLB. Mostly all of them can.
Yeah.
But you want to manufacture and score runs. If we go up there and we hit 3 home runs a game and they're all solo shots, you lose 4-3, something's got to give. We can't just be full of 40 home run guys who strike out 230 times who are batting 250. The odds of baseball and the probability. You're not going to win with stats like that. You may win a few more games than you did last year, but you're not going to be a true contender.
Yeah, you're taking away. Plus, when you strike out a lot, and you're taking away a lot of baseball is a lot of strategy in the game. That's why people love it, right? It's like soccer is the same type of way. There's a lot of strategy. You need talent, but there's strategy to it as well.
Yeah.
Right. That's why the American League, they say there's not much strategy because you don't have to worry about the pitcher spot. So I like the strategy, but I also like the DH. It has its advantages, right? Because you can still play hit and run. You can still have guys butt in the right situation. You still have to have guys that know how to hit the ball to the right side of the diamond to move a guy to third. You have all that plays into effect, right? So if you have a team that strikes out a lot, if you're down 0-2 and the guy flips an outside curveball out there and you swing at it, you got to be able to either hit it to the outfield or hit the ball on the ground to the right side. There's a guy on second base, right? Like, it's not always about getting the RBI. It's productive outs. Yeah. They do
moving the runners.
Striking out, you're not. You know what I mean? It's like
you're not contributing anything.
Like, you look, Ichiro doesn't strike out. Tony Gwynn never struck out. Like, they put the ball in play, and when you put the ball in play too, you make things happen because guys.
I believe the most times Tony Gwynn struck out was 26 times in one season.
I think that's even high.
And I think it might have been a little less.
I think it's in the teens.
Yeah, between 18 and 23, I remember saying, but this was later in his career. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So what you're doing is you're putting a lot of stress on the defense, right? Yeah, I know they're pros, but even the best players in the league, they make mistakes, bro. Like nobody.
Oh, they always do.
Right?
Oh, no.
So because if everybody's perfect, guys in the NBA would make every shot. Quarterbacks in the NFL make every throw. Guys pitching would hit every spot. Like it's never gonna happen.
No.
So you got to put some, but they don't have their team's not built that way now because they don't have. They just don't have the roster. They also don't have the right pitching coach. They don't have the right hitting coach.
Oh my God, McClure is terrible. He is the worst pitching coach. But the funny thing is, 4 of our relievers over the last 33 and a half innings have let up 1 earned run.
Like Nishak, they need to move him too. But
Nishak's a stud though. That's the problem. But what are you gonna? My thing is, what are we gonna get for him? More minor leaguers.
You got to think about him though. Do you think he wants to play?
No, he doesn't want to be here. No, send him to a contender.
Exactly.
But my thing is, you look down at AAA and you look down at AA at our starting pitching. Even they had one of the guys who is a beat writer for the Phillies. He said that their top potential for all their starting pitchers down there are 3s and under. Mm-hmm. That doesn't help you. We don't have a Kershaw. We don't have an Arrieta, a Greinke down there. We don't have any pitcher waiting in the wings that can come out and just gas you and get you 15 to 20 wins.
They're also very hard to find, though.
They are very hard to find. But we should be able to find one.
We're a top 3 market, right? You have New York, LA, Philly. Chicago and Philly are probably close, but I think Philly's a higher market than Chicago.
Not a beer.
Right? So you can buy the ace. That's not a problem. You can buy the ace. You're going to have to overspend. So we had no problem. We had no problem buying aces when we had the glory days. Yeah, you had Cole, but everybody else was bought.
Well, yeah.
So you're going to have to spend money. So that's my part of it. But baseball thing we wanted to get to, which we wanted to get to last week, we didn't get a chance to, was
High Life!
Champagne and beers. Reason why we couldn't get to it is because we were a little busy, but we're going to talk about the Bryce Harper brawl.
That was...
I don't really call it a brawl. It was more like a couple shots.
Two sissies trying to throw hands.
Bryce Harper.
Two ninnies. Huh. I had me a few Chardonnays. What about it?
Bryce Harper threw that helmet like 50 Cent threw that first pitch for the Mets. I don't know how the hell that happened, but anyway.
He threw that helmet like...
I think it's actually
like Oscar throws a football.
I think it's good. No, like Tasso throws a football.
Oh my God. Tasso catching a football. Ow, dude. Ow, dude. Shout outs to Mitzez for being the tougher brother. I'd rather watch a Tasso versus Mitzez fight than Bryce Harper brawl any day.
The problem is there'd be a lot of blood.
So much blood. So much blood. The cops would be there.
There'd be leftovers on the floor.
There'd be a drunk girl hiding in my trunk. Oh my God.
Forgot about that.
That was so funny. That was such a great time. Anyway, I'm sorry for that. We'll talk about that story another day when Tasso signs his release forms from prison. But anyway, the Bryce Harper brawl, which we're not calling a brawl. The Bryce Harper, we'll call it the incident.
Skirmish. The skirmish.
The incident. This just in. Bryce Harper had an incident. He threw his helmet about 40 feet in the wrong direction. Charged the mound after getting clocked by Strickland for something he did 3 years ago.
Keep in mind,
which was taking him yak twice.
the problem was they haven't seen each other
I don't care.
since then.
Go to his house.
Pitchers don't forget.
People don't forget.
Pitchers don't forget.
Remember when you pissed your pants in the 5th grade? Dude, that was like so long ago. People don't forget.
Anyway.
What? I'm just saying. But it was 3 years ago.
But he didn't do the cheap way. He didn't ear hole him.
No, he just nailed him at 99 in the thigh.
Bryce also pimped both of those and took a sweet old time, and Strickland let him know he didn't like it. So you're going to catch 98 or 99 to the hip.
Okay.
The problem was, if you're going to get hit in the hip and then you're the one that charges the mound, don't get hit first.
No, dude, he got like...
He got mushed first.
He got jabbed. He's like, yo, duck my hands. He literally, dude, and then he threw
And
that
the dude
open
ducked
hand
the helmet.
punch and was
And
like...
he ducked the helmet. So the guy was like moving.
He didn't even have to, Nick, he didn't have to duck the helmet. It was nowhere near him.
Some kind of Nancy the way I threw that thing down.
I still kicked your ass. Oh, that was so good. I'll put you through that wall again, Mr. Hurley. But anyway, we're going to talk about do we believe it was deserved. So we always talk about these unwritten rules of baseball. But my favorite thing out of that was Buster Posey standing at home plate watching it go down and then reacting a good 5 seconds after it. Granted, if I was Buster Posey, I'm not getting in the middle of it either. Because I had 4 concussions. Your brain's a little messed up. Like you said, there's some big guys going around out there. So
you seen Samardzija and Mike Morris collide? Two big dudes.
Samardzija tried to kill him. He channeled his inner Notre Dame days where he had his pads on, putting on the blocks at wide receiver, and just drilled.
It's the sled, man. He's sitting there like the sled.
I was like, holy crap, that was the hardest hit of the fight.
Oh, yeah.
Out of the brawl, that was the hardest hit.
I mean, you got to suspend them because you got to set a precedent, but I think it was good because it got people talking about baseball for a little bit. I mean, it's really been kind of quiet. Do I think that it's deserved? I have no problem with the unwritten rules. There's little unwritten rules in every sport that you play. Like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. It's not in the rules, but it's not good. It's not good fashion to do that. You're not supposed to show him up, show him up. That's fine, but it always has a way it's working itself out. That's why I like hockey. There's an unwritten rule. You don't do that. What happens if you do? The guy will take his gloves off and a punch in the mouth. All right. Sometimes it's what they need.
But so, I like the fact that this is the first time you see a pitcher get more games than a batter for charging the mound. Usually it's even, or
he
only
initiated by hitting them. So I mean, that's understandable.
But the good thing is he's a reliever, so he doesn't start. So he comes in 2-3 times a week. He's gonna miss that time to come in, which I completely agree was deserved. You can't do that. I don't care if it's 2 years later. The more impressive thing to me is if I'm a pitcher, you took me yard twice. I'm not going to throw at you.
I'm trying to strike you
I'm going to try to strike you out. I'm going to try to make you look as stupid as possible every single time I see you after that. That's revenge. That's revenge in my mind.
So in his mind, he probably saw him come up there and he wanted to do that, but then he said, I'm just going to plunk him. And then next time when he comes up, I'll just K him.
Yeah, I mean...
It's possible, but, he might never get that chance.
Yeah, but so. I guarantee he'll be on the Nationals next year and Bryce will be with the Cubs. Because apparently that's where he shows major interest, so I don't think the Phillies are going to be able to rope him in. Now we're going to turn our sights onto some foosball. We're going to talk about the Birds. So if you didn't, again, live under a rock, haven't seen the news, Jeremy Macklin's a free agent. Cut because they signed him to an $11 million deal.
$12.7 million.
$12.7 million.
So they're going to take a.
They're
going to take a $7 million cap hit, dead money, which that proves to me one thing. Well, actually, two things. Andy Reid, he's usually pretty good with letting guys go a year sooner than a year too late, kind of like the Bill Belichick way or the Pete Carroll way. It usually works out for them.
Let somebody else pick up the
also,
problem.
I think that Macklin never really lived up to that. I mean, he went to the Chiefs. They won in spite of him pretty much, not because of him.
Yes.
Because he was their number one receiver, but he's getting like 500, 600 yards a year. He had more the first year, but he's been battling injuries. He's got soft tissue injuries are tough.
Yeah, I mean, the hamstrings, all that stuff's going to kill you.
Yeah, you can't run. You're a receiver. You need your feet, and you need to be able to run. So there was a rumor that Macklin coming back to Philly? I mean, it's probably crossed his mind, But I mean, all the money you just invest into receivers, why would you invest it again?
My whole thing is,
I think they actually dodged the bullet by not spending that money when they signed him in the first place.
Exactly. If you can get him coming back for like $3 to $4 million,
he's not going to take that though.
But he's not. He's going to like in the range of 6 to 9.
Yeah, he's going to want one of those. I mean, I've read some stuff that I know he's visiting the Ravens, I believe, tomorrow.
He visits the Bills today because Shady and Tyrod are desperately in the need for weapons.
They recruiting him because they really only have Sammy Watkins. That's pretty much it, right?
And he can't stay healthy. He's another guy.
Exactly. So they don't have any other receivers. I mean,
get your uniform on. You're playing wide out. Oscar ran a 12.440 in high school.
Boom, son.
I ran a 13.4.
Oscar ran that in a boot and crutches, so that's pretty good.
With 2 torn ACLs in the same leg.
I'm saying it's pretty boss.
Same leg.
Who has 2 ACLs in the same leg?
Oscar does.
Boom.
And
you just got boomed.
Yeah, right.
I don't believe the Eagles are going to sign Jeremy Maclin.
I don't think they should even consider it.
I don't even see why it's even on the table. It's just people, oh my God, Eagle ties. Jeremy Maclin,
they want to
relive the memories when he had like 2 good seasons.
I mean, it is what
like
it is.
Let it go. We already have so many problems like on our hands. With you got Dorial Green Beckham who can't run a route
he doesn't
and
look up when he runs a route.
Is softer than soft, like Charmin soft. Then you got Nelson Aguilar,
who apparently said that he didn't.
How many passes didn't he drop? Or did he drop, Oscar?
So apparently, the article of Philly.com said he only dropped 4 passes last season.
In Nelson Aguilar's head, he said that he only dropped 4 passes a year.
In his head.
So the other ones that I saw him drop must have been all imaginary. They must have been hologram.
I don't think it was him. I think it was the water boy put his jersey on because he had a poop. He had a poop. I know.
It was 4 passes and a quarter, honestly.
I wouldn't honestly doubt that.
I think it's. I don't know the real number off the top of my head. We'd have to look it up. But regardless, when you see a receiver,
look it up.
You look at him and you're like, oh, that dude. Like when they throw the ball to him, it's like, oh, that dude can't catch. 2 things come to mind. 1, why did you waste a first round pick on him? 2, why is he getting paid to catch footballs when he can't catch a football? Right?
That is a very good question.
I mean, it's like he does the polar opposite of what his job is.
Oh, okay. So he had. Let's see how many.
It comes up right on there.
Yeah, it'll show it beside Subway. Looking.
Pull it up. It's too small.
So she said.
How do you see like extended stats? One article said in November 14, 2016, he dropped. That's Nelson Aguilar. Counting drops. There's whiteboard. What's just gonna say it was probably 10 or higher.
If anybody knows the number,
if anybody,
that's great.
Please write it on the comments. Or write it on the comments on YouTube. Or write it on the comments of SoundCloud. We would love to know how many, and the winner will win a special prize. They have to send us a case of beer. Wait, what? What? We're still not sponsored by a brewery yet. We're trying desperately. If anybody knows anybody in the brewery business, we need free beer. Because it's honestly getting expensive.
Yeah, you guys heard that.
Yeah, 40s are expensive.
40s are...
You know, used to be cheap, man. Not anymore.
We used to get 40s for about like $1.25.
That was
in our day.
Colt 45s.
Colt 45s. We used to get the Hurricane. Then you do the Velociraptor. If nobody knows what the Velociraptor is when you drink like 3 Hurricanes, or in my eyes, a deuce of Hurricane because it's that bad of beer, and you're throwing up and you're pooping at the same time. So it's called the Velociraptor. You just learned something. Drop knowledge on you kids. We're about to go. The Velociraptor. For all you kids who are going into college and think, oh, I'm going to buy Mad Dog 2020.
I'm going to do the Cobra 20 hands, the Deuce hands, just hold them all day.
Or the Hurricane. Well, guess what? You better be able to drop your drawers because at the second that Hurricane hits your lips, you shit your pants. It's going to be gross. You're not going to get laid in college. Fact. Unless you go to Rutgers. Everybody gets laid there. Boom. Anyway,
that's actual
fact.
That's actually in their programs when you get in on campus.
Or Arizona State.
That's probably like the acceptance.
The acceptance. Do you like getting laid? And if you say no,
have you been laid? If you say no,
you're
probably not getting in the Rutgers.
They're like, you might not get in, but there's a spot for you here. We will change that for you.
There could be. Arizona State, they only ask you 2 questions. Are you 5'11" to 6 foot? And are you blonde? And female. Yes, you're accepted to Arizona State. It's amazing. So our next topic is
We already went over everything.
we
Almost
pretty
everything.
much did.
But one thing.
But one thing. What do you got?
I heard as a Philly fan. But compared to the Yankees, and you see how they're doing with their young talent, what has gone wrong with the Phillies? Why aren't they doing the same thing?
Let's see. Two words. Judge and who's their catcher?
That was you already did your 2 words. You're
Yeah,
done.
you went over 2
Sanchez,
words.
Gary Sanchez.
All right, 4 words. Judge and Gary Sanchez. That's 5 words. God, I can't count. I'm going back
No,
to school.
Judge and Gary
before.
Sanchez is 4 words.
Damn it, I can't count. I'm going back to school. That's what went wrong. Like, you have a stud who's, what, 6'7", 260?
See, this is the thing, though. But keep in mind, Aaron
Field?
Judge is going to be 26 soon, so he's not as young as people
Oh,
make
he's
him.
not as young as you
He
think.
finally figured it out.
He can give you a solid 4, 5, 6, 7 years, though. Like, you're not going to find, like, I feel nowadays, you're not going to find these, like, decade players.
Generational players.
These generational players who are going to go out there
There's a
and
few
play
of them in the league, and that's
10 to
it.
15 years. I mean, Mike Trout is the best player in baseball. You can't argue Machado's better. You can't argue Bryce Harper's better. You can't argue Chris Bryant. And, like, all these young guys can't hold Mike Trout's jockstrap. He's that good. And if you look at his stats, it's like a career, I think he's just under a career 300 hitter because his first year, I think.
No, he's
of
even
stats.
better. No, he's like a 320 career.
Is he a
or
career
something like
320
that.
hitter?
Yeah.
Because I know he batted like 284. I know he batted like 224, but that was only in 14 or 22 games. You check his stats. But he's on a phenomenal pace in home runs, hits, RBIs, stolen bases, fielding percentage. He's a 5-tool player. He is to Anaheim to what Jeter was to the Yankees.
There's a difference, though, because Jeter was never the best player on any of his teams.
But he was always the focal point, the leader, that dude, basically is what I'm trying to say.
He's a career 308 hitter, and that's
308.
because the first year in 2011 when he came up,
He had a
only
real down year.
He only hit 220, but he only had 135 at bats.
Yeah, so that kills it. That'll be nullified regardless because I don't think that's even eligible for anything.
So he's on pace this year to hit like 337, which is what he's hitting right now. So he's right now he's having a better first 7 of his years of your career than Ken Griffey Jr. had. Then
That's a good stat.
Who was the other one? Barry Bonds too. He's ahead of both of them in the first 7 years of his career.
But Barry Bonds got really good when he started injecting the stuff
He
called
was-
steroids.
He
into
was
his ass.
really good before that.
He was good. And here's the thing about Barry Bonds. I hate him, but the guy saw one pitch in at bat. And he took it yard, 76 times?
72.
72 times in one season. One pitch in at bat, 72 times. That's insane.
It's pretty good.
We're going to ask for questions, and we'll just ramble and have a little banter for a little bit. So ask a few questions. We'll get to them. The first question we got is from Mikey T. He wrote earlier, is Wade Boggs a legend for drinking 70 beers in a 24-hour span?
Dude, there's only one word to say to that.
Hell yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Hurley would be proud.
Aaron Judge on roids.
Who wrote that?
Dan.
I didn't even pop up. Aaron Judge is not on steroids. Aaron Judge is just a ginormous man who can hit the ball very
Here's the
far.
thing. With the way that they test now, if he was on roids, we'll find out very soon.
Yeah, and I don't think
You gotta just realize that. They film... Sorry.
we're in the fucking studio, Nick.
My bad.
Tori, wait.
That's not Tori. They
JT.
they test guys like once a week pretty much now.
Yeah, well,
So,
look at James Harrison. He just got tested the 3rd time in the off season.
He's just an animal, guys. Get with it.
Yeah,
Watch his
dude, he's
workout
39 and
routines.
he likes to work out. Leave him alone. Go drug test Smokey McPot Gordon again. I guarantee he fails.
Smokey McPot. That's
Smokey
pretty nice.
McPot Gordon. That should be his nickname.
He should get that tattooed on him somewhere.
Oh, dude, I mean, he's going to have to because there's...
He's got to just...
doesn't have a
You
career.
got to design it, though.
Oh, I will. Him and Martavius Bryant, we're going to get together and smoke a doobie snack. And Le'Veon Bell will be like, yo, pass
Yeah, but we'll do it at
that.
Ricky Williams' store.
At Ricky Williams' store? Perfect.
Yeah, man. He's got...
With Darryl Strawberry.
Oh, yeah. I forgot he does that, too.
Darryl Strawberry was... I watched the... I think Nick Dodd posted a video of the 10 best brawls, and Darryl Strawberry, when Armando Benitez clunked Tito, Darryl Strawberry was so high on cocaine, he just went nuts and tried to kill everybody. It was pretty epic.
I mean, imagine being called Darryl Strawberry.
I know, your whole life. What's up, Darryl Strawberry?
What's up, Strawberry?
You better not call me that. I'll kick your butt. But anyway, that is going to end our time and end our episode 4 of Drunk on Broad. A side note, you can catch me tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on Robin Lundberg's new show on, it's his own TV channel. It's called StickToSports.tv at 8 o'clock. I will be on that show with a few other people. It's a Skype type show where you discuss sports. So I was invited to do that from some of his producers because I'm a fan. I'm a fanboy. I'm a fuckboy. That's basically what it is.
That's pretty much what it is.
Wow.
Yeah, I
He
said
called
it
himself a fuckboy.
He called
Just
himself
keep
a
that in
fuckboy,
mind.
so
I did.
So now when you see him,
I
be like,
did.
yo, you're that fuckboy. You can't
that's
say
so
no,
great.
I'm not. You can
That's
be
so
like,
great.
I mean, I guess I am.
Face when he goes on fuckball.
That's so great. But anyway, if you want to catch me on that at 8 o'clock tomorrow, I will be on that. But for next time, we're going to try to shoot for another episode either later this week if we can. We'll get Nick Dodd back in the studio. I honestly just forgot to text him, so we'll get Yachty the Body back in here. And we'll do our thing. We'll try to get this going again. So I'm Rich Conroy for Drunk on Broad.
Okay.
And you got
ASAP.
ASAP. We're out. Have a great night, Philly. Get drunk. Play that shit, cuz. Thanks.
Tuesday night, I have fun drinking water.
I gotta go to jury duty tomorrow. Later. Your fate is in my hand, criminal.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Jury notification. Everybody use it when you go.
D-O-G!